audience of Gloucester Stage. You are here to see a staged reading of To Be a Gloucesterman. And my name is Terry Weber-Mangos. I am the Stories Project Leader for the Gloucester 400 Plus. If you don't know what the Gloucester 400 Plus is, that is the awesome organization that is putting together a huge amount of events this year to recognize Gloucester's 400 plus years of history. So, stories from all of Gloucester's people. Everyone is just coming forth out of the woodwork to tell their stories, and we're collecting those for publishing on the website and also in a commemorative book, so that's what this is all about. There is a couple people I want to welcome tonight. One of them is Mike Costello, who's sitting right up here in the front. He is from Timberline Enterprises. Timberline is the lead sponsor of this event, and without sponsorship, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So very The sponsorship is in honor of Jeffrey Rashan, who is also here up the front. Contributions to the Gloucester stage. Also want to thank our arts and media sponsor. Our art sponsor is this very stage, Gloucester Stage, for giving us this venue, which we really appreciate. And 1623 Studios, who you may or may not notice, is filming right up there. So this is the job. I want to recognize a couple people from the Gloucester 400 Plus who are also sitting here. That would be the tri-chairs, Ruth Pino, right over here. Wave, Ruth. She is the executive But last, and definitely not least, is I want to welcome the family, the descendants of Edward Day Cohota. Edward Day Cohota is who this night is all about, and we're going to tell his story tonight. So his great-grandson, Melville Brown, is the producer. Mel is right there, front and center. Hi, Mel. His other great-grandchildren are here, and that would be Cal Martin and Kluani as well. They're sitting right up here. That's all the introductions at the moment, which you're probably grateful to hear. So at the end of this, just a few housekeeping things. At the end of this performance, if you could actually not get out of your seats for a minute, we have a special surprise. So please stay seated at the end for the surprise. It will only take a minute or two. And during the performance, if you could just either shut off your phones or silence them, that would be great so they don't interrupt anything. So, without further ado, I want to present To Be a Gloucesterman.
star of the sea. As a boy, I was also wandering the docks and looking over the water. Only I was in Shanghai, China. In fact, that is what Shanghai means, overlooking the sea. I was hanging out where an American ship had docked. It had 3 tall masts, and there were sailors hauling large sacks and crates off the pier and down into the ship. Standing on the pier were a man, a woman, and a sailor. I thought the man must be important because he wore a jacket with gold buttons and a white hat. Then he pointed at me.
That boy is here again. He is very curious, and he seems to be friendly with some of the crew.
Captain, he's been on the pier watching us every day. The crew have taken a shine to him. We sometimes give him a little food while we're loading the cargo.
He looks so young. Is he all alone?
I've never seen him with anyone else, ma'am. He just wanders around the pier watching us. And he's always hungry.
I wonder what happened to his parents.
You may not have any. There are so many orphans here. Children live on the streets, begging for food and sleeping in alleys. The squalor inside the city walls is appalling.
And there are rumors about civil war. People are saying whole towns have been massacred and the rebels are near Shanghai.
He is so thin. Poor boy.
Captain, some of the men want to go into the city tonight one last time before we sail tomorrow. Do they have leave?
Aye, they'll be back on board in 3 hours. We'll load the last cargo, then at dawn, we go up the rigging and weigh anchor. It's dangerous now. We're not waiting one more day.
Aye, aye, Captain.
The sailors wandered off to have fun, if you know what I mean. Then some Chinese craters bring more crates and leave them on the pier. When it gets dark, I go over to the crates and pry open the tops to peek inside. One is full of sacks of freshly picked tea leaves. Another has teapots and cups. The third has a pile of silk. I reach in and touch it. It is soft. I take some of the silk out and throw it into the water. Then I lay down inside the box and close the top. I fall asleep, and suddenly I'm shaken awake as the crate is lifted. I hear men shouting and running about, and then I feel the motion of the ship. The rocking grows stronger, and I'm bound for somewhere new.
I'm up the rigging and gaze around. Make sure that every sail can stand the gale that sends us outward bound.
Sleep the starlight in a dashing round. Rest in New England's pride to raise the tide and sun. The rocky shores may break and scour as the mists around. When she's restored, we'll send her farther outward bound. The clouds have parted, the wind is high, the fog horizon beckons where it meets the sky, and we will swim around and bravely sail the route that will lead us outward bound.
Captain, we have a passenger on board.
What in God's name? A passenger? Who is it?
Remember the Chinese boy from the pier?
The young one who was always by himself. The boy the sailors were giving food to.
Aye, he's the one.
How on earth did he get on board without anyone seeing him?
In a crate. He hid inside it, and when we got back last night, we just loaded it on board. One of the crew went down to the hold to check on the cargo and discovered him just sitting there upright, like it was nothing.
Was he frightened?
He jumped behind the crate and tried to hide, but he didn't get far.
So, a young stowaway. Unbelievable. Bring him to me straight away.
Aye, Captain.
Sargent, remember, he's just a boy on his own.
Well, it's too late to put him off the ship. There are no Chinese boats out here. The harbor is far abaft, and we have a good wind.
Dearest, you know I couldn't stay behind by myself, alone at home. I had to come with you. Now this may be the sign we've been waiting for. The child I've been praying for.
Captain, here's your stowaway.
Well, well, well. So this is our new passenger. Hello, boy. Young Ha.
Aren't you a fine young man? Where's your mama? And your papa? I think he is truly alone.
Captain, we could use a cabin boy. I can show him the ropes, he can serve in the mess and climb the rigging.
Yes. And I could teach him some English. And maybe I could learn a little Chinese.
Very well. Let's bring him on deck and show him around.
What is it? What are you looking at?
It's the dolphins, ma'am. They're following us out to sea.
Oh, they're leaping so high. Look at them all. We'll swim with dolphins. We'll ride the whales. We'll see the seagulls dive and mermaids strive to catch their flashing tails, and soon their dancing will awake you to a strange new land, where your new family man can take you by the hand. We'll sing through moonlight as stars abound, through waves of turning from returning home together safe and sound. And when at last the seas have parted and our next adventure started, then we'll come about and we'll sail the road that leads ever outward bound, outward bound, outward bound.
I was on that ship for many days as it roamed the sea, stopping from port to port. Days stretched to weeks, weeks to months. Mrs. Day was a teacher, so I learned some English words from her. Once I left Shanghai, I forgot my Chinese, one word at a time. And believe me, once you've forgotten your Chinese, you can't get it back. I also had a new name, Edward. Edward Day. At first I could not pronounce it, but then they called me Ned, which was easier. The Days cared for me on the long journey back, and when we got to Gloucester, into their home. I'd never seen such a beautiful house before, with furniture and rugs fit for an emperor. I even got to sleep on a bed, with a pillow and a coverlet. Quite a change from sleeping on the streets of Shanghai. I soon felt at home in the Day house, and the captain's daughter, Lucy Elizabeth, and I became great friends.
Ned, what are you doing? Why are you hopping around in circles like that? Rolling on the grass, waving your arms? You're so funny. You would never sit still. Come over here and lie down on the beach with me.
There's a bird way up in the sky, Lucy. Can you see it? It just stays up there, going round in circles.
Well, it could be an eagle looking for prey. They see things from far up in the air, and when they find some animal, they dive down and catch it. It happens a lot in spring. here.
And look at all the bugs. There are so many of them, buzzing and flying around. No, I love things that fly. They can go anywhere.
Maybe we could catch a butterfly or a dragonfly. They have such beautiful colors.
Catch a dragonfly? Why? What would you do with it?
Why, I'd take it home and we can admire it there.
If you caught a blue-winged dragonfly and you carried it away, and you took it to a pond nearby, well, what would the dragonfly say? He'd say, where do I belong? And just where did I go wrong? If he's powerless and in distress, he knew it all along.
Ned, they're just insects. They don't have thoughts like that.
Oh, yeah? If you hear the crickets sing at night, but you see one all alone, 'cause it lost its way while taking flight, can it survive on its own? He'd think, is this where I belong? Where they go, my happy throng. Though he's in a mess and in distress, he knew it all along.
Oh, Ned.
When the butterflies come out in spring and do their happy dance, if they're caught and pinned to anything, then they haven't got the slightest chance.
Look, I caught a
If
firefly.
you caught a flashing firebug and you cup it in your hands, and you stash him on the parlor rug, we'll never understand. He'd wonder, where do I belong? Though I'm scared, I must be strong in my loneliness, but nevertheless, he knew it all along. Now, I knew I was different from everybody else. I was the only Chinese in Gloucester, and probably all of the North Shore. But one day, when I was sitting near the beach, I saw another boy my age, and I realized I wasn't the only kid who was different.
Hi, I know who you are. You're that Chinese boy. You live with the captain in that big house up on Pleasant Street, don't you?
That's right.
What's your name?
Ned,
I'm Horace. Horace Freeman.
it was nice to meet you. How come I haven't seen you around before, Horace?
Well, I don't live right here in town with the fancy white folks do. I live further out on Essex Street. My daddy doesn't like me spending too much time around here these days.
Oh? Why not?
Well, he thinks that everything that's going on is safer for Negro families to stay together, close to home, if you know what I mean. But I come down here anyway. I like being in the center of things.
Well, if your daddy isn't happy here, why don't you go somewhere else?
Where would we go? We came here a long time ago, after my granddaddy bought us Freeman. That's why our name is Freeman. He came across the Asquam River and got his own house right here in Gloucester. Put down his roots and started raising livestock. We have a roof over our head and we have plenty of crops. So I think we have it pretty good. And I guess you do too, from the size of that house.
I'm not so sure. The captain and his family have been very good to me, but I don't really know anybody else.
Well, now you've met me. We can do things together. Maybe we can go work on a boat, catch some fish for dinner, sell the rest.
No, I was on a boat for over a year, and that was long enough. I just want to be on my own.
You don't know what might happen if you up and leave. You gotta be where you're free, Ned. Like my daddy says, if you don't have freedom, you don't have nothing. And until everyone is free, no one is free. Anyway, if you do go, you'll probably come back.
Why do you say that?
Because Gloucester's your hometown now, Ned. It's where you're from. And when you know where you're from, you know where you're going.
I never knew where I was going.
Well, somebody must have known, because here you are. And there's something special about this place. With the sea all around us. I like to come down here in the evenings, step in the water, and feel how it kind of pushes me around. When the fading twilight sweeps across the sky, and the bay around me is aglow, then I wade in waters that will purify, and I feel that gentle undertow.
But that undertow is strong.
Yeah, right. On the brig, the tiller needs a steady hand, not to jibe and mainland to and fro. Every rig and pillar on the ship is manned when your tribe sails with the undertow. See the lightning flash and hear the thunder go, like a cymbal crashing high above. But no storm can smash the mighty undertow with your tribe and their undying love. Let it push and pull, let it find you, let it be your guide in the flow. And your tribe is always there behind you as you ride the mighty undertow.
Well, that all sounds nice, but I'm mostly by myself. I don't have a tribe.
Well, now you know me and the captain's family too. Keep that in mind before you think about moving on.
But I don't even know if I belong here. There are days where I just wanna go below and not jive with anyone above.
If you raise your spirits mighty undertow, you'll survive with its communal love. Let it push and pull, let it find you, let it be your guide in the flow. And your tribe is always going behind you as you ride that mighty undertow. That oh so mighty undertow.
Ned, I hear you and Horace are buddies now. Is that true?
Yes, we've done some things together. He's shown me other parts of town, like where he lives.
I'm glad. You don't seem to have any friends around here unless you count me, and I'm your sister. Horace is by himself a lot too. But his father owns a lot of land around here.
Yes, I saw the farm. But Horace wants to be a policeman, I think.
Now that would be interesting. They'd sure be surprised to see a policeman like him.
Yeah, I bet some people would stare at him. Just like those people over there who are staring at us. Why do you think they always do that?
Frankly, I think they're looking at you a lot more than me. Don't pay them any mind. Hey, look at these shells I found.
There's that Chinese kid again, sitting with old Typhoon Skipper's daughter.
They're always together. I never see him with anyone else. Never.
Saw Amos. You never saw him.
I don't think he has any friends besides her. My Nathaniel is his age, and they don't know each other at all.
Well, he mostly keeps to himself. If he doesn't want to jaw with anyone, then he won't make friends. He's a bit odd.
Why don't you try him out in your boat, Amos? Maybe you can know him a little. They say these coolies are hard workers.
What? Take him on? I don't know if I want to hire a coolie. Especially if he doesn't talk to anybody.
I think he's just shy.
Well, he's different. He's kind of hard to find, that coolie.
He never speaks his mind on truly.
I seen him staring across the sky and pointing there as a hawk flew by.
When he was 2 or 3, that truly, I hear he go to the unruly.
I think his parents just gave him up. Then someone else had to save them from there.
He was a prickly pear.
The captain was aware.
They followed like a snare.
What were they thinking about?
And they know England were down. They just fell under his spell. They meant very well, but time to tell by their descent into hell.
See him creep and crawl upside down.
The parents keep it all in stride now.
When Mrs. Taylor lads are out, he runs and plays like a gallop.
I said, beware the child might fool ye. She gave a stare and smiled quite coolly.
They can't allow with his hanky-pank. I disavow that you're trying to yank.
I never spied a tomfool spinner. I bet he cried a lot at dinner.
Oh no, he'll eat any chow you make. I hear he wants to learn how to bake.
They let him try to cook Chinese, spaghetti fried with black-eyed peas, and lobster spicy and boiled a bit. The softer slices had spoiled a bit. Just take your pick and choose. I only licked a few, and I was sick for 2. I saved the claw for you.
I'd sooner gnaw a shoe that will knock you flat if you ain't seen the cat.
Saw.
If you ain't saw the cat, you'll come to that.
That I won't never saw.
Is that so?
The typhoon skipper looks wrong.
You ought to know.
Well, if he's hammered so much, the glamour as such has passed. We look at them and gasp, 'cause they're unruly, 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 just won't last. There were a couple of churches in Shanghai and missionaries who spoke Chinese and went around talking to the people about the Christian Bible. They even had copies of the Bible translated into Chinese. But I couldn't read anyway. When I went to church, I thought the minister was simply a missionary who had stayed home. I couldn't always follow what he said. But I still went to church with my family every Sunday.
And I shall cross the endless swamp and tread the path along the sea. And as I walk, I'll sing this song and breathe the air that sets me free. I'll brave the raging storm without a qualm, for I can shelter in the lee. And when I've crossed the Ennis wall, I'll know I'm in the place I long to be. O Lord, open thou our lips.
And our mouths shall show forth thy praise. Amen.
Please be seated. Bill Lowe will read the lesson for today.
Today's reading is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 61. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. The word of the Lord.
Amen. Thank you, Bill. My friends, we live in a time of great division. We are in a battle for the soul of our nation, a struggle to preserve what our forebears created. Thousands of Massachusetts men have heeded President Lincoln's call and gone to war. Some have not come back. But they are with our Lord in heaven, for it is his will that all men are free. And our nation was founded on God's will. All men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Lord knows everyone's pursuit of happiness. Some may find it in their homes, with their families. Others may find it in the fields or on the sea. As Dr. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, every man has a history worth knowing if he could tell it, or if we could draw it from him. We ask for long life, but 'tis deep life or grand moments that signify. Let us raise our voices for all Gloucestermen who fight in God's name.
So as I listen to the minister, I ask myself, if God is all-seeing and all-knowing, what is his plan for me? What is my route to happiness? What will my history be? I thought about the bravery of the Massachusetts soldiers and the men who were still going to war.
Ned, have you heard? President Lincoln has issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Slavery is abolished. They're recruiting all free black men to fight in the Massachusetts regiment. This is our chance to make everyone free. Ned, we'll change the country. We'll make history. Our history.
Then I learned that Horace really joined the regiment. And I thought, if he can go, my only friend in the real world, well, then so can I.
I know he likes to find new ways of cooking lots of fishes, but if I were you, I wouldn't even say you'll wash the dishes.
It just runs around the piers. We can't allow this hanky-panky. It's been going on for years. I disavow that shiny egg.
If they're caught in such a jam, what if we fought for Uncle Sam? And if they say that he's not old enough, we'll guarantee he's bold and tough.
He's old enough, we guarantee he's bold and tough. We disavow the China Yankee, won't allow the hanky-panky, China hanky-panky, China hanky-panky, Yanny take the hanky-panky, Yanny take the hanky-panky.
Stop!
Yes, Lucy. Freeman's joined the regiment, and I'm going with him.
Oh, Ned, are you sure? You could both be shot and killed.
Lucy, the president just declared the end of slavery. Horace has gone to fight on his behalf, and I need to follow him. The only thing is, I had to change my name.
Change your name. Why?
The officers didn't believe me. No coolie would have an English name like Day, he said. I told him the captain was my father now, but he had no proof, and he wouldn't sign me until I gave him my real name. So the only name I could think of was Cohota, your father's ship. And it sounded Chinese enough for him.
But Ned, it doesn't matter what you call yourself. You're not a slave. You're already a free man.
Lucy, until everyone is free, no one is free. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Ned. See you next spring.
When the butterflies come out in spring and do their happy dance, if they're caught and pinched to anything, then they haven't got the slightest chance. If you see a blue-winged dragonfly and it's darting to and fro, you must let it go and beautify some place where it can grow. So brother, where do you belong? Will you find your happy throng? After fond goodbyes, I realize we knew it all along.
We went down to Boston in February and were loaded onto the transport. After landing, we marched for weeks. In winter, the armies recruited and guns were manufactured. So at first, there was no fighting. But as soon as the weather allowed, the horror began. We marched a lonely crossroad and prepared for battle.
Well, this is damn stupid place to be. Just big field, this ratty old abandoned inn.
They call it Cold Harbor, and that was the tavern. Confederates are making a stand here. We can't get any closer to Richmond. We're still alive, thank the Lord.
I'm sore all over. I'm sweating like a pig. I got so many bites, I think the mosquitoes are helping themselves to seconds. Jesus, this is bad.
Why is it called Cold Harbor? We're not anywhere near the water.
I think by harbor they meant shelter, and the tavern probably only served cold meals.
Well, what do we do now? Just wait for the Confederates to start shooting at us?
We don't do anything till we're ordered to. We just wait for the call.
I bet it'll be at dawn. We ought to take turns sleeping, if we can.
I can't sleep. I've never been more scared in my life.
Just don't do anything silly, Ned. Wait until we're ordered to go.
Here, do what the other men are doing. Take your name tag from your kit and tie it under your uniform, like around the jacket button.
Why? What's that for?
So you can be identified later. Tomorrow morning. Well, you just don't know. You don't know. I woke one morning and saw an angel who smiled at me. I asked the angel,
Harbor was a disaster for the Union. Our men were mowed down in rows. Thousands of injured soldiers strewn across the fields, crying in agony. By the time a truce was announced and we could go back to rescue our comrades, all of them were dead. I couldn't find Horace, and Lowe was hit in the jaw, but I dragged him away from the carnage. I was grazed by a bullet. My hair still parts here, but I wasn't discharged. I was deemed able to fight, and all I could think was, when will this be over? I was begging for a meal in China, sleeping on the street. Now I'm marching down to Carolina, blisters on my feet. Since I've been fighting in your war and seen my share of blood and gore, like you I've lost some friends that I adore. So don't call me a stranger anymore. Don't you tell me what you're thinking, soldier, for I know that smile is the one where you've been drinking, soldier, for a good long while. You might call me a dirty name, and I'll ignore it just the same, and I don't care how many shots you bore. Just don't call me a stranger anymore. I kept my peace and learned my place, like anyone who's of my race, and followed all the rules that I was told. Women, children, all be reft, whose men were dying right and left. Your social graces simply leave me cold. If you're gonna be a friend, my brother, I'm not your boy. If you're gonna condescend, my brother, get another toy. I thought I fled to Wonderland, but now instead I understand that since that blessed day I came ashore, you saw me as a Chinese stevedore. So don't call me a stranger anymore. After the war, I couldn't find any work. No one would hire a coolie. So I joined the army again. We marched hundreds of miles and were stationed all over the territories. And all that cooking in Mrs. Day's kitchen paid off. I was assigned regimental cook and baker. Many years later, I decided to take a trip to Gloucester one last time. I loaded up my Oldsmobile and traveled all the way back to Massachusetts. We finally crossed the Annisquam, and walking around Gloucester, who should I run into?
Cohota? Is it you? I can't believe it.
Bill Lowe. Oh Lord, how wonderful to see you again.
I would have died on the field but for you. You saved my life. I've never forgotten you, Cohota. You are a true Gloucesterman and American.
American? That's what I thought. But I'm not.
You're not. But you grew up here. You served the country.
Yes, I did. And I voted my whole life. But I can't be a citizen. It's the law.
But what does being an American mean, anyway?
If you hear somebody say that they're American, you should listen to their stories from the past.
Mel thinks that we're doing a Q&A right now. We're not doing a Q&A. If you know any of my events, there's always some kind of surprise, right? So I want to introduce a city councilor here tonight, Scott Memhard. He is going to present a special citation to Mel, the cow. Lorani, please come up here. In honor of Edward Day Cohota. Scott, you take it away.
Great. Thank you, Terry. What an honor to be up here with these folks after that performance. Again, my name is Scott Memhard, and I'm the city councilor for Ward 1, which is home here of the Gloucester stage. We're great. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Mayor Greg Berga for the city of Gloucester. Greg regrets that he could not be here due to a family wedding he had to attend. And first, most important, thank you to everyone involved in tonight's production, which was really, as the people have said, just wonderful. Let's have another round of applause. Thank you also to the 400 plus committee for all their work in the year leading up to 2023 and this weekend. The stories that they've uncovered and encouraged people to share spotlight the ethnic and cultural diversity of Gloucester. Stories that truly make Gloucester, Gloucester. And like everyone else, I'm looking forward to what's next. Tonight, it's my pleasure to honor and to present a citation to the family of Edward Day Cohota. The citation was prepared by Mayor Greg Berga and is presented on behalf of the residents of Gloucester, past and present. From the office of the mayor, this is a special citation. Edward Day Cohota, honorary son of Gloucester. As mayor, it is my privilege to honor the memory of Edward Day Cohota for his heroic actions in saving the life of a fellow Gloucesterman during the Civil War. Mr. Cohota went on to serve our country for over 30 years in the United States Army, and on this day, I am proud to declare him an honorary son of Gloucester. Given under my hand and the seal of the city of Gloucester this 8th day, October 2023, Greg Berga.
Making history, and that's what we did tonight, and I'm so proud of everyone here.